Ever wonder why some pieces lead to commissions and performances while many others get ignored? My solo flute piece started out as a tiny little idea, but it ended up being performed at Lincoln Center, featured on a professional album, and even led to a 5-figure commission from a Grammy-winning ensemble. And today I'm going to break down the 3-step strategy that made it happen and show you exactly how you can use it to land performances and commissions of your own music. Now this story all starts 4 years ago when I was between commissioned pieces. With no deadlines on the horizon, I wanted to explore a new compositional sound that felt uniquely me. And at that time, I came across a flutist named Dustin White. Now, Dustin had just released an album blending Arabic and Western sound worlds, which lined up perfectly with what I wanted to write at that moment. So I reached out to set up a conversation. We ended up talking on Zoom, and I asked him if he'd be interested in me writing a new piece for him. Thankfully, he said yes, so we discussed what specific musical ideas we wanted to explore together. Then a couple of months later, I sent him the finished piece, and he premiered it at the Mid-Atlantic Flute Convention in Washington, D.C. Now keep in mind, we're just one performance into this story, but here's the key insight. I wrote that piece for a performer whose musical taste aligned with mine, and that one choice made all the difference. When you write for someone specific, they're invested from the start. That first performance is almost guaranteed, and it's really the last. And much more importantly, you can actually go out there and do this yourself. So here's what I want you to do right now. Make a list of every performer you know, classmates, old friends, musicians you've met, and drop them into a simple spreadsheet that you can keep track of on your computer. Or to make this easier, you can just use the template that I've already made for my private students down in the description below. It's completely free for you to download. Now, once you have your spreadsheet open, here's what I want you to do. I want you to create a bunch of columns in the spreadsheet, very, very simply stating the person's name, their instrument, their email, their location, and what you perceive your relationship strength is with this person on a scale of 1 to 5. Now, 1 means you've met once, maybe in passing, while a 5 means they're a very close friend or regular collaborator. Now, after you've done that, pick 2 or 3 people on that list with very strong connections, preferably those in the 4 or 5 camp, and send them this very simple message. Hey, I've been thinking about writing something for your instrument. Would you be open to chatting sometime soon? Now, keep in mind here that you're not asking for a performance. You're just simply starting a friendly conversation from one human to another. So take 10 minutes to do this right now. You might be 1 message away from your next premiere. So after doing these steps myself, I had a new solo piece that had gotten its first performance. But how did this piece get to the next level? How can a piece like this lead to more performances or even a commission? Well, a few months after Dustin premiered my piece, another flutist emailed me from out of the blue. This performer named Brandon Patrick George had come across my piece and said it would fit perfectly with his new album concept that paired standard flute repertoire with contemporary classical music. He ended up performing the piece at Lincoln Center in New York City and recorded it as one of the featured tracks on his next solo album, which you can check out in the link in the description below. Now, I could never have predicted that this was going to happen, but I'd actually already set myself up for something like this. Because Dustin and I had such a good collaboration, he was continuing to spread the word about my flute piece to other flutists he knew, and it ended up coming to the attention of Brandon, a world-class performer. So once you found that first performer to work on a new piece with, prioritize building that relationship both during and after the writing process. What might surprise you is that though performers know a lot of other performers, they don't know nearly as many composers as you think. This means that for us, that once a musician has found a composer they really connect with and enjoy working with, they'll basically shout it from the mountaintops. And by the way, the results can be bigger than you ever imagined. Which brings us to the third and final part of the story. Through writing that piece for Dustin, I was introduced to Brandon, and through Brandon, I met oboist Toyin Spellman Diaz, a close friend of his and a member of the Imani Winds, a Grammy-winning wind quintet. Now, it's important to mention that without Brandon, there would probably not have been an organic way for that ensemble to discover my music. But because he already trusted me, the Imani Winds took an interest, and together with the Harlem School of the Arts, they commissioned me to write them a brand new piece for $10,000. Now, I'd like you to think about that for a moment. A 5-figure commission that all began with a very short, small solo work and a few genuine conversations. This is why I always advise the fellows that work directly with me in my program. You don't need luck or cold outreach or endless submissions. What you actually need is to start with the musicians who are already in your orbit. And after more than 20 years of composing, I can tell you with certainty, almost every major opportunity I've ever had began as a small project with someone I already knew. So if you're waiting for the perfect opportunity to arrive, stop waiting, because the path to your biggest commissions starts with the relationships you already have. And that's actually not even the whole story. The small piece you write can potentially be the first step on your path to getting commissioned to write for a full symphony orchestra. So check out this video next to learn the exact system I use to land multiple orchestral commissions. Which reminds me, I need to get going right now because I got some music of my own to write. I'll see you guys later.